Hello friends, welcome to TriBecca Designs. My name is Rebecca and I love to sew. Happy Friday! This is another edition of Friday Sews. Now Friday Sews was started by Jen over at Today in Jen's Sewing Room. She created this hashtag for all of us to come together on the YouTube platform to share our passion for sewing, and what a lovely platform it is. So I was wondering, how many Friday Sews videos have I made? I wish I would have numbered them so that I could keep track. But if you're interested in checking out any of my previous Friday Sews videos, please check the link for the playlist in the description box. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about life and share a couple makes with you all. Now, in reference to life, I'd like to talk a little bit about sewing inspiration. Something I personally have never needed or struggled with. I honestly cannot remember a time I was not inspired to sew, but I have had quite a large number of challenges associated with my aspirations to become more known as a fashion designer. I want to share some inspiration that I believe was sent to me divinely. So I want to talk to you guys about Ann Lowe. I recently purchased this book on Amazon about her, but I first learned about Ann Lowe, I think the year was approximately 2016. It was the first time my husband and I took a trip to the Smithsonian. This was before the African American Museum was erected. In fact, I think they were almost finished with it. It wasn't open at that time. If I have my year correct, my year may be a little off. I may be remembering the year wrong, but long story short, we were in a section of the museum that talked about Ann Lowe. There were no photos of her, but I was looking at these lovely gowns. It was talking about, dressmaking and everything. And only because I stopped and actually read what was, presented in front of these gowns, did I discover that she was African American. And I was like, what? I've never heard of this lady. Why have I never heard of Ann Lowe? A couple of things about Ann Lowe. One, she actually made and designed the wedding gown for Jacqueline Kennedy. The actual gown that she married President Kennedy in was made by the hands of this woman. And it says that she was one of the first African Americans to become a designer of couture. Well, let's just say the first known one anyway, because there are many of us who do couture. Nobody's ever heard our names, but kudos to her. So some mornings I listen to a podcast called Our Daily Bread. Every morning the Daily Bread becomes available where you can just, I have the app. I listen to it on my phone very often. And about a month ago or so, give or take a few days, they brought up Ann Lowe in a one of their daily encouragements, and the title was The Power of Persistence. And I learned more things about Miss Lowe when I listened to the Daily Bread that day. And you guys, it came at a time, let me tell you, where I was experiencing, I was encouraged by listening to something that she had gone through. She had applied to go to design school. And over the phone, it was all good. She was accepted, blah, blah, blah. When she got there, we talking about like the 60s or something. She was turned down. She was turned away. She was told, just frankly, they didn't know she was African American and that they weren't going to let her in for that reason. And it talks about how she whispered a little tiny prayer under her breath for them to let her stay. Long story short, they made her take all of the classes in the hallway of the design school. They left the door open so she could hear from this massive distance. And she did not let that stop her. The fact that she wasn't able to go in the classrooms and participate in learning, she stuck with it, even though she had to stay out in the hall to hear the lessons, to grasp the concepts. Her talent, of course, was given to her by God. She excelled. She graduated early and ended up with high society clients like Mrs. Kennedy. So when I heard that, I have to admit my hurdles are not coming from racial discrimination. I'm thankful that I live in a dispensation in time where I don't have to experience what Ann experienced. Sometimes my discrimination comes from people who look like me. I'm just going to be honest about that. But the persistence that she had really encouraged me to keep going, even when others don't want to see you succeed. And I'm not here to give a sad story. I'm just giving you guys some truth. If this can encourage you in any way, whether it's pertaining to sewing, some aspiration you may have to develop a gift that God has given you, or whatever it is, I put a link in the description box below for the actual podcast that I think it's called a podcast. I may be saying it wrong, but you can go and listen to the daily bread that I'm referring to, and I think it'll move you to touch your heart. Anyway, this woman made some beautiful gowns, you guys. I want to share this book with my young sewing students. But yeah, Ann Lowe, this really encouraged my heart, and the fact that God gave me that on one morning when I needed it. The Daily Bread, they were using a seamstress, a designer, for inspiration. And I thought, ooh, that is so wonderful. God gives you what you need, friends. Okay, friends, I meant to say I'm going to share a quick passage with you guys. And I'm just going to go to the book of Luke, chapter 18, verse number 1. That's all I'm going to read. One little verse. It says, "Then Jesus told his disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up." Pray and not give up. Yes, that's what I wanted to focus on for life. That has been my situation. And so he went on, if you read the rest of that passage, to give a parable about a widow who had a need, and she was going to the king to get her need met. The king didn't care about her, nothing else, and he wasn't trying to meet her needs. But because she was persistent and she kept coming and she kept begging, he just got tired and just went ahead and gave up. But we know God is the one that moved on his heart to do that. But long story short, I was encouraged by all of that. So really quickly, this is a make I'm going to share with you guys, and I think it's very fitting. A jacket that I made that's inspired by me being a Midwestern girl. This is a faux suede. Yes, it's a texture that has a nice suede texture to it. It's kind of in a cow print. Yes, I'm a Midwest girl, honey. Corn fed on the farm, sister. But I like to get fly. Don't get it twisted. I can rock with the New Yorkers when it comes to my clothes, okay? So, yeah, I made this jacket with window panes. I'll model it for you guys in a minute. And I call it my Window of Opportunity jacket, because of all the windows. So yeah, it's a journey. And then to go underneath, I made this simple turtleneck dress. It's ankle length out of a stretch knit, something I've had in my possession for quite a while. This is not a new make, but I like to wear it with this jacket. Actually, I made two of these jackets. I have one of my own that's really long, and then I have this short one that I am going to put on my Etsy shop. But what I think would really look cute underneath it is what I wish I had to wear with mine is a white or an ivory sweater dress. I think that would be gorgeous underneath. But here's a few ways you can style it.
I can't miss no Beverly, you can't hold me. Knew that it was my time and I ain't need a rollie. P139, that's the word. This provision is precision, you ain't gotta see the worth. Every situation different. Trust if you feeling out of luck or if you stuck, homie, you just can't miss this. It's so easy, you be thinking it's absurd.
All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you for tuning in. I hope that someone has been encouraged. And please come back next Friday because I will be making a huge announcement. I'm really excited. I almost am bursting at the seams because I want to tell you now, but I have to wait till next week. So come back so I can tell you what I'm up to. Thanks for watching. Peace and blessings.